Okay, so today I am going to do a video on something very, how can I say, controversial. People don't want to talk about it. People in the church are not talking about it. There are some voices out there making a big commotion right now. I'm going to share a little clip with you today about it. But I feel like, and I feel the Holy Spirit pressing me. During prayer, I again felt reminded by the Lord that it's time to become a voice for what is truly going on in a lot of our churches. And what is unfortunately happening in a lot of our churches, I think more than what people realize, is that there is spiritual abuse as well as physical abuse, especially against women and children, happening in the church worldwide. I've heard some stories that have come to me personally. I'm going to share a little bit with you tonight. But I've just been made aware again of another video that Pastor Mike Winger, that I follow, has also done in the last 4 days. I'm going to share a little clip regarding that with you. Um, Mike Winger is a voice right now, has been, I think, for the last year, where he is exposing the spiritual abuses, the lies, the deceptions, the physical abuses, the sexual abuses, everything that is going on, specifically in the charismatic movement. It's not just in the charismatic movement, I believe it is in the church worldwide. But I think that God really wants us to start speaking about these things more and more, because the more voices start speaking about it and saying, listen, this is not okay. It is not accepted. It is not something we as a church is going to continue to cover up. Then we put a stop to it. We make it known that it is no longer allowed. We allow the voices of the victims to stand up and start speaking more and more. And you will be shocked how many victims there truly are. Even here in South Africa, we have many victims of the church. People still think today that the church is a safe place to send your kids. Single women think that church life is safe to go to. It's the one safe place. It used to be a safe place, but unfortunately today, a lot of churches are not safe anymore. Um, and even if your church is shepherded by another bigger church from America, I'm going to show you tonight that this doesn't mean that you are safe. So, what's happened now in the last 4 days is that Mike Winger, Pastor Mike Winger, has done an interview with one of the sons of a prominent prophet that used to be part of Bethel Church. All right. Now, he came on to Mike's show and he exposed his own father, because the leaders at Bethel are not exposing what is happening in their own church, their own community. They are not speaking up for the victims. In fact, they don't even believe the victims. A lot of them don't believe the victims. They are more concerned with their image than these women that have been abused, and some of them even raped, by the spiritual leaders that they platformed. So what they do is, when they find out about these kinds of things happening in their church, they basically just silently remove the leader that is committing these crimes, because it is crimes. These people should go to jail. Um, and they say nothing. They say nothing to their communities. They don't speak up for the victims. They don't even speak to the victims. They do nothing. They don't go to the police. They do nothing. They hide it. And I wanted to speak about this specific topic in terms of Bethel, because I feel a lot of South Africans still follow Bethel Church. And yet, Bethel, if you've been watching, has been exposed in the last, I don't know, couple of years now, 5, 6, 7 years, where there's been leader after leader after leader being exposed for sexual abuse, spiritual abuse, so much more. Not to mention the false doctrine that Bethel preaches. Yet so many people still follow Bethel Church. So here is somebody who was a victim who turned into a voice for the victims. I want you to hear her testimony of how many victims there actually are and what's happening, as she speaks to Mike Winger.
Men with sexual abuse or spiritual abuse from Bob and Mike and other leaders at IHOP. So for me specifically, I knew I had a specific, whatever you want, name you want to put on it, assignment regarding Bob. I knew I would, like, this just kept landing on my lap, landing in my lap over and over. And so all of these women, I mean, I actually started a group because I couldn't talk to all these people. I had a group of almost 300 people that had contact. Yes. Yeah.
All about Bob.
No, Bob, my abuse. Yeah.
Wow.
Not Bob, but the ones.
But all in the IHOP connection.
Not just IHOP. Bethel, Morningstar. Those three kind of all run together in a way.
Okay, so that's shocking when you think about that. In just that church group, and I'm sure she only knows a portion. Bethel has been going for a very long time. So has IHOP. So has Morningstar. For a very, very long time, years upon years upon years. And not all victims want to speak out. Some victims leave the Christian faith. Some victims just remain quiet for the rest of their life. 300 people coming together speaking about spiritual abuse and sexual abuse should be shocking and alarming. Why is Bethel doing nothing about it? And this is not the first leader that has been exposed. Bob Hartley, Mike Bickle, so many leaders in Bethel has been exposed. All right. And when you watch the whole video, I'm going to link it below for you so that you can go watch that whole video, because it is shocking what they are doing. We see that this culture is being created by false prophecy. This is what's happening because there's no accountability. There's no accountability in the church anymore in terms of prophecy. We do not test the prophecies anymore. We follow the platforms. Okay, but you're part of Bethel Church, so you must be good, right? Do you understand the network of people that are connected to Bethel Church? If I had to tell you all the names, I mean, there are hordes of names. And no, they might not all be guilty of these things, but they're guilty of silence. They're guilty of not speaking up for the victims. They're guilty of not exposing these crimes. There's no other way to put it. It is pure evil, and these people should go to jail. But this is something that is not just happening in Bethel. This is happening everywhere, largely in the charismatic movement. Why? Because we have these prophets and pastors and apostles that have the platform. They have thousands and even millions of followers, so they can do whatever they want. Now, I remember 8 years ago, the Lord gave me a very specific word that I released. In that prophecy, he said to me, Rebecca, I'm about to expose the wolves in the church. And wow, what happened after that was insane. I don't know if people are even aware of it. We have, like, Mike Winger's video, I noticed 238,000 views. That might reach 1 million. But how much further does it go? Do churches start talking about it? Do pastors start telling people about it? Are people starting to expose what is going on in Bethel? Because I'm still shocked today. Just a few months ago, I had a pastor sitting in my home telling me so proudly that he is a part of a ministry that is associated with Bethel. And I cringe when I hear that. These people have no idea. I mean, so many people, there are millions of Christians around the world. We need to start speaking up about this. Even myself, I'm guilty. I need to start speaking up more about what is happening in the church. There are too many victims who do not have a voice. No one is listening to them. They are too fearful to come forward. They are too fearful to speak. In South Africa, it is happening in an unprecedented level. In our churches in South Africa, the same thing is happening. It's not just in Bethel Church. We have so many churches in South Africa. I'm hearing horrific stories of what is happening in the church in South Africa. A couple of years ago, I had somebody come to me and tell me about a normal church. I mean, you would never think anything like that was going on. Turns out one of their youth pastors, listen, youth pastors, some stories started surfacing from some of the children that things were happening behind the scenes when no one was watching. What did the church leadership do when they found out? What did the team of elders do? They asked him to quietly resign. This is how the church deals with abuse, even when children are abused. Listen, what should a church do when they find out they have a predator among their leadership? Is that what we do? We ask them to resign or to leave quietly, and we say nothing? Why does the church do that, do you think? Because they're too afraid to have their name tarnished. They're too afraid to have people leave the church. Why? Because why didn't the leadership know about this? Why weren't the children safe? Why do we have leadership in our churches that are predators? There's no other way to do it, that are criminals at the core. Why is this being allowed? And a lot of people are asking this question as they are finding out about these things. This is why the church covers it up. You'll hear Mike Winger speak about cover up culture. This is real, people. It is prevalent, not just in America's churches, but in South Africa's churches. People are too afraid to speak up. And as soon as you speak up as a victim, you get attacked by the very people in the church that have put this pastor or this prophet or this apostle on a pedestal. The very people that you go to church with will turn on you and attack you. So a lot of people are too afraid to speak up. I don't blame them, because we've created a cover up culture, and we've turned the office of a prophet and in an apostle and a pastor into a pedestal, untouchable. You cannot bring an accusation against the man of God or the woman of God. Even women are guilty of this. You cannot bring an accusation. How dare you? Who do you think you are? This is not what the apostles in the Bible was talking about. This is a crime. This is evil. These people should go to the police and report these people. They should be arrested. They should go to jail. This is what should happen. All right. So let's go back. Where is this all coming in? Like I'm saying, we're putting these people on these pedestals. They're untouchable. They're able to do whatever they want. But at the same time, we are allowing false prophecy in the church. We don't test the prophecies anymore. We allow people who claim to be prophets to just prophesy, and we never go back and see, well, did this prophecy actually come to pass? Did what you say really happen? Or do we just have these blanket prophecies that, oh, yes, it looks like it came to pass. And sure, you're speaking what this one is speaking, and they're all saying the same things. And you're so charismatic and you seem like you're so good at what you do that we just believe these people. We just believe the prophecies. I've had this dealing with this, especially American prophets and prophetesses. Um, I've had quite a bit of this in walking with the Lord in a few years. So about 3 years ago, the Lord, just before the coronation of Charles, okay, I get this prophetic word. I think it was days before his coronation. I get this prophetic word. The Lord says to me, listen, this is really bad. Charles is going to wear the crown. You know, that's not prophecy to me, of course. We know the crown is going to be placed on Charles's head. His mother had died, so obviously the crown is now going to pass to Charles. But the Lord wasn't focused on giving me some prophetic word about the crown coming on his head. I'm mentioning this for a reason. I'll get to it in a moment. And rather, the Lord was focusing on what was going to happen during the coronation. He said, watch what Charles is about to do, because he's about to let evil in. That is unprecedented. And the Lord spoke about the effects that that would have, what it would usher in afterwards for Christianity. And we saw that prophecy come to pass, by the way, because what happened during the coronation? Charles did something that no monarch did before him. He allowed other faiths to be a part of the coronation. Up until that point, England was known as a Christian nation. Everything changed when Charles became king. The prophecy came to pass. What happened afterwards? We started seeing that the Muslim faith started being pushed by England. Today, they are persecuting Christians in England. This is unprecedented. It would never have happened with his mother. It is now happening under Charles. This is what God was focusing on. Okay. So I release this prophecy now before Charles is crowned. I release the prophetic word. Man, did I get attacked out of nowhere. I had all these people that follow this prophetess, Julie Green, start attacking me and say to me, you are a false prophet. You're a false prophetess. How dare you say that the crown will be placed on Charles's head? Because Julie Green has been prophesying for a long time that the Lord said that the crown will never get onto Charles's head. I was shocked. I mean, I didn't even know who this Julie Green was. She's got a big following, a huge following. A lot of people, some people follow me and follow her. Please, if you want to, please go follow Julie Green. Don't follow me, because I really listen to the Lord. And I think that we really need to start speaking up against these kinds of things. So what happened? So the crown was placed on Charles's head. My prophecy came to pass. Well, not that it was a prophecy. I mean, come on. We all knew that the crown was going to be put on Charles's head, right? But her prophecy proved to be false. So I went to check afterwards, what were people saying now? What was she saying after the prophecy was now false? And what I saw was her making up all kinds of excuses and twisting it and turning it to make it not look so bad. And oh, she just, misunderstood it and made it all okay. And the followers just took it in like, wow, that's okay. That's good. Oh, you're so amazing, Julie. You know, this is shocking. I'm using this as an example because this is what we're doing in the church. And what we're not seeing is there is this door that we've opened. It's a thread that is running into more and more evil. It's like letting in a little trickle here. And this trickle starts becoming bigger. And soon we have a stream. And soon we have a river. And eventually we have this torrent of evil in the church because we didn't stop it when it was only a trickle. First, we create these pedestals, these men of God and women of God that are untouchable, that we can't say a word against. We don't test anything that they say. We just take it in because they've got the platform, they've got the followers, they seem charismatic, they know so much, so we just follow. We just follow. There's all these strange signs even that follow them, so we follow. We follow. And then what do we do? We also don't test whether they truly are prophets of God. We also don't test whether God is really with them, as the Bible tells us to do. And then what do? We continue to follow. Whatever they prophesy, we just lap it up, Now it's turned into a stream. And we defend them. And we go after whatever they say. And dare anyone speak a word against them, we're going to attack you. We're going to convene. And we're going to attack you. How dare you attack our idol? And so it turns into a torrent eventually, where we have built these platforms that have enabled predators, that have enabled abuse within the Church of Jesus Christ, where predators are now preying on children, young girls, young boys, and vulnerable women who don't know any better, who are being abused, who are even, Bethel is a cult. There is no other way to describe it. It is a cult. It is the same as Hillsong Church. It is a cult. It is not the true bride of Christ. And so we enable these abusers, and we make the voices of the victims less and less and less. Let's look at Morning Star television network. Have you seen the exposés that have been out on Morning Star? The very people that founded Morning Star, I forget the names now, the very people that founded Morning Star. Have you seen? Please go and look on YouTube. Everything is there, available for everyone to see. If you just go and dig, you'll find it. I mean, it is sickening. It sickens me. It really does that we still have these kinds of churches, their music, their doctrines, the people that are associated to them. We're still allowing it into our churches. We're still playing their music in our churches. We should completely cut off and distance ourselves as the bride of Christ, as the Bible tells us to do in the New Testament. We should completely cut off this evil from among us. But because we preach hyper grace, we just keep giving these people grace, these predators grace. And so they just have more victims and more victims and more victims because we never put a stop to it. There's another prophet here in South Africa that I've spoken about. I forget his name now as well. Many times on my private platforms, I've pointed these things out to people. I see he's got black hair, mega church. He is well known across South Africa. I see he's now recently sent out a message claiming that God has told him that we must now, as the church leaders, all pray for the nation. And the message seems so good and so wonderful. And I see the message is being spread and it's thousands across the country. And I wonder if people know, if people realize that at the beginning of last year, this very same prophet prophesied that God said that Malema would be the next president of South Africa, that God chose him, that God chose Malema to be the next president of South Africa. I mean, my jaw dropped when I heard this man prophesy this. The very man that blasphemed Jesus on national TV is now apparently chosen by God to lead. This is what I mean. There's no accountability to see whether the prophecies are actually coming to pass and to test the prophecies. I mean, really, is God going to choose a blasphemer to be our next president because God wants him there. God wants him to be the next president of South Africa. Of course, I can't clip it, I can't show you because I've been blocked off of their channel because I called him out on it. I'm not going to remain silent. And for some reason, somehow I was blocked off their channel, so I can't clip the video. I don't even know if it's still up there. You know, I think probably by now they've taken it down because that's how easy that it can be. We're going to say something, we're going to give these false prophecies so that we can get more people to click on the videos, to subscribe, to join us, and then somewhere along the line the prophecies disappear and nobody has, you know, is holding anyone to account. There is no accountability. Not really. They say there is, but there really isn't. If you look at this video about Bethel Church with Mike Winger, you'll see there's no accountability. Nowhere in the leadership is there accountability. So what I want to do is I really want to start speaking up about this more and more. I want to become a voice for the victims. I believe that God really wants us to start exposing these kinds of things. So I urge you, if you are watching this video, if you are in South Africa, I can't do anything about the people in America. You know, if you have been a part of some church in America and you are now here in South Africa and you would like to reach out to me, you are more than welcome to. But what I want to do is I want to find the victims in South Africa because I've had a couple of people come to me with horrific stories. I don't have to tell your name. I don't have to, you don't have to show your face. You don't have to give me your name. I just want your story. Tell me what has happened to you. I want to be somebody who can be a voice for the victims. I am not afraid of what they say. I'm not afraid of the attacks. I'm not afraid of any of that. Listen, I have no fear in my body when it comes to people. Really, God has delivered me of the fear of man completely. So I want to become a voice for you. I want to hold these people to account. If you are a part of a church or have been a part of a church and you have suffered spiritual abuse, sexual abuse, any abuse of any kind, please get in touch with me. I'm going to put my email address down below. Send me an email. Get in touch with me. You can even come and meet with me if you don't want to put it in an email. Tell me what has happened in your life. Let me pray for you. Let me give you some spiritual counseling because I really fear for these people that they will walk away from Jesus. Because what does this tell them about Christ? The church is the representation of Jesus Christ on this earth, and yet the people are getting abused in it. The people are getting sexually abused. So many victims are walking away from Jesus. Please do not do that. This is not who our God is. This is not something he condones. Listen, even in marriages, women are being abused and the church condones the abuse. The church allows it. The church stands back and watches it happen. If you are in a marriage, as a Christian, as a believer, and you are being abused in your marriage, reach out to me. I'm willing to give you free counseling. Please come to me. Reach out to me. I will help you. I want this to stop in our church. I want us to become holy. I want us to put a stop to all of the abuses, the physical abuse, the spiritual abuse, the abuse of prophecy, the abuse of the platforms, the abuse in any way, shape, or form. We need to become a voice in unity against abuse, and we need to start removing these things out of the church completely. So please reach out to me and join me if you have a platform. If you have something that you can use where you can be a voice for those kinds of people, then join me and do it. If you are a church leader, start doing your own research about these things. Start becoming a voice for the victims. Start speaking up against these churches that are breeding grounds for predators. Stop supporting them. Stop buying their music. Start speaking up against these kinds of people. We stand accountable before Jesus Christ to speak up against the evil that is committed in the very buildings that we claim to be safety, that we claim to be the buildings of Jesus Christ. We have to start speaking up as the church and exposing these evils. We have to start being bold and stop fearing to lose our platforms, to lose our followers. We need to start speaking up. All right, many blessings. Shalom.